This is the Tascam Mixcast 4, and obviously it's called 4 because there's 4 microphone inputs. There's also 4 headphone outputs. So perfect for podcasting or live streaming, because not only has it got a multi-track recorder built in, it's got a multi-channel interface to the computer. So whether you're live or pre-recorded, this could be a great way to get really professional results. So stick with us and let's find out a bit more. So, like I said, 4 channels of microphone input. You've also got USB input from the computer. You've got a phone input. Now, this can either be the TRRS jack that's on the back, and that can be switched with a pair of 1/4 inch. So if you're trying to plug a keyboard or something else, or a submixer or something else in, you can do so that way. It's also got Bluetooth, so you can bring in a Bluetooth caller. And then you've got the last fader here are for the pads, and we'll come to those in a second. Now, this is a mix minus mixer, and that means that if you've got people calling in on the phone, on the Bluetooth, on the USB, you can turn off the fact them hearing themselves. And that's, of course, exactly what you don't want. You don't want a couple of second delay in them hearing themselves going back, so they'll hear everyone else apart from themselves. The key to proper podcasting. So let's go and see what's under the hood. If I start clicking on the screen, you can see some of the options here are grayed out, and that's because we're recording on the device as we are. If you're not recording, you'll be able to access those different controls. Now, I'm going to go and click on microphone 1, and we can see here we've got our normal level meter, and this is where you can select the dynamic or a condenser mic, and also if the mic is plugged into the front or the rear of the device. Now, on the front, it's not just a headphone jack, it's actually a headset jack. And that means that it's got the microphone built in. So if you are using a headset, you can use your headset mic into there on a standard TRRS, and that will just work straight away. Underneath that, we're into voice settings. And you can see here, we've got tone and a compressor. And on the second page, there's processing. So at the minute, I'm using the de-esser and the noise suppressor. The noise suppressor actually is a gate. It's just a funny way of saying it, but we can go into the settings there. And there we go. We can turn that off and turn it on. And I haven't got it dropping too much. And actually, if you are using gating for something like this, the trick with it is not getting it to go to total blackness, because you'll really hear that opening and closing. I've just got this dropping down 7-8 dB, and that just gives you that much more natural kind of noise suppression. I've also got a de-esser, and I was pleasantly surprised with this, because without it, and if I start talking about it, time for tea, it's time for tea. It's time for tea. It's time for tea. It's just a lot smoother on the T's and the F's and the S's. The T's, the F's and the S's. That is impressive. I really like that, especially with the pod mic. Obviously, Rode weren't thinking about Tascam using their microphones on here. This actually seems like a really good pairing. So much so that if we go back a page into there, and the tone, I've got this on deep mode, and this is lovely with the pod mic. If I set it to, in fact, if I disable it, here's the standard pod mic, and that's nice enough. But yeah, with the deeper tone to it, that's just got that little bit of richness that this kind of doesn't naturally have. Really good pairing. Also, you can go mid, you can go high, or you've got some form of manual control. But deep for now for this is great. Also, I've got the compressor on. So I've just got this on the preset soft option. We can also go hard. We can go hard. Or we can go soft. Soft seems nice and natural, but it's just bringing those edges up. And again, secrets of pro production. You want to get the tone as neat and as finished as possible inside the box. Obviously, you've also got a manual mode there as well. And that is replicated not only across all of the microphones, but also the other inputs. And I thought this was really, really neat feature. So USB input, voice setting, you've got the de-esser and you've got the gate and a bit of auto enhancement for it. And this is something that you don't normally see on the channels coming back from the computer. So that's replicated again across the Bluetooth inputs and the such. But let's now have a look at the pads. And really, you can see here what's routed on the pads. And these can be used in different ways as well. So pad number 1, which is set to applause, and that is just on a momentary. So I've got to hold my finger down on the button for it to trigger. And the mode can be set for each one of the pads. So number 2 is an alarm, and this is on a latching mode. So you've got to press it once to turn it on, and then press it again to turn it off. And number 3, I think, is something similar. And there we go. So for all you sound boys who want to mash up the dance, that's the one for you. Over here, we've got a drum beat set up, and I've actually set this to repeat, so it's just looping. But of course, if you've got a musical bed that you're using as part of your show, you can just bring the bed up in the background and keep talking over it and it repeating all the time that you're there until you turn the pad off. And actually, nicely at this point, I'll show you that the pads can be used together. So we could stick the applause in at the same time. It's also got quite a neat function in case you end up live interviewing Shaun Ryder. It's got and the does also cut off the rest of the inputs. So if you carry on and then it's exactly, there's just nothing there. Lovely little feature there if you get caught up in the moment and have to go and bleep something. So again, all of these can have your own sounds loaded into them, and there is multiple banks, so you've got lots of space for your controls. There's a plethora of other little bits of features. There's talkback to the local studio, and there's monitor outputs, and that can also be set as a dedicated line level output, just to make sure that you're going, if you are feeding another front of house mixer or something. So actually, this is a really impressive unit. If you want to record directly onto the SD card, you can. If you want to come out of it onto a live stream and record into the computer, then you can. It even has an iPad app that you can record directly into multi-channel and edit the podcasts. So a beautiful job here from Tascam. And if you want to know any more, please leave us a comment. Otherwise, we'll see you for another video again soon.